morning to all the attendees of this webinar. Friends, can you hear me? Am I audible? Please text
Yes, sir.
fast that I'm audible to you.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Look at the screen. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm
Yes,
getting
sir.
yes. Okay, Manpreet says
Yes.
yes. Okay, friends. Right, so today's webinar is on sales and salesmanship. Now, we need to understand the difference between sales and salesmanship. When we say sales, we mean the profession of selling, right? But when we say salesmanship, then it's an attribute, then it's a quality, and a quality which is required for everybody. Whether you are in a sales job, whether you are in an accounts, finance, MBA, you are in defense, or wherever that you are in your own enterprise, whatever that you do, you need a mindset of salesmanship. So we're going to talk about selling as a career, and we are also going to talk about salesmanship as a trait, salesmanship as a quality of an individual, and how it helps. All right. Right. Now, what are we all looking at? We are not looking at success. Everybody wants success in life. Anybody in this group who does not want success, please text me that you don't want success. I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I have not got any answers, which means everybody attending this seminar wants success in life. All right. Everybody wants success in life. The only difference is the way in which we want to lead ourselves to success. Somebody wants to get success through their own enterprise. Somebody wants success through their jobs, right? Somebody wants success through something else that they want to do. Somebody wants success from their accounts job, somebody wants from sales job, somebody wants from HR job, but everybody wants success. And this need for success has been very well defined and interestingly portrayed by Amitabh Bachchan's father, Shri Harivansh Rai Bachchan, in his Mahakavya, which is Madhushala. And Madhushala starts with these two couplets, which has been narrated by Harivansh Rai Bachchan himself. And let me quote it to you in the same manner in which Harivansh Rai Bachchan has said these two couplets. And he says, मदिरा ले आने को घर से चलता है पीने वाला, मदिरा ले आने को घर से चलता है पीने वाला, किस पथ से जाऊं असमंजस, किस पथ से जाऊं असमंजस में है वो भोला भाला। फिर इसका आंसर देते हैं, अलग अलग पथ बतलाते सब, अलग अलग पथ बतलाते सब, पर मैं ये बतलाता हूँ, राह पकड़ तू एक चला चल, राह पकड़ तू एक चला चल, पा जाएगा मधुशाला, पा जाएगा मधुशाला. What a beautiful rendition. What a beautiful couplets. What beautiful words. Now, let's translate into success. What Harivansh Rai Bachchan is saying is that everybody wants to reach their success point. And what is that success point? The success point is Madhushala. He has personified Madhushala as success. Right? And he says that everybody wants success. ले आने को घर से चलता है पीने वाला, किस पथ से जाऊं असमंजस में है भोला वाला. Which road should I take to success? Whether I should do my own enterprise, whether I should take a job, whether I should go in defense, whatever that I do, I have to get success, right? And everybody takes a different road. And then he answers it for everybody, that everybody says, alag-alag path hai, but let me tell you one thing, you take one road and keep trudging on it. Keep moving on it, albeit slow or fast. Keep moving on it, and one day you will reach your destination. You will reach your Madhushala. You will reach your success point. So very well said. We're all looking at success. Right? Now, the mantra to get success. How do you get success? What do you need to get success? That is important. We should know. And for this, we had created a small poll in which we had asked you, what are you looking at from your careers? What do you want from your career? What is the barometer of success for you? And let me cite what answers we got. You'll be surprised to know that the top criteria for success, people say, is status and freedom. Right? If they achieve success, if they want to achieve success, they want status. Status tells them that they are successful. Right? Freedom to do what they want to do in life, right, is another parameter which defines success. Right? Excitement also is very important. People are saying they want an exciteful life. They don't want drudgery. They don't want melancholy. They don't want monotony in their life. They want excitement every day, new things happening, new challenges, new achievements. Right? That is what they want. Right? And surprisingly, only 22% people have said money is the biggest motivator from them. And HR fundamentals have proved that yes, money is not the biggest motivator. Right? The biggest motivator is status, belongingness, friendship, right? All these social norms, leadership. I lead more people than the other person. These are basic parameters for success. And now, let me come to sales versus salesmanship. Right? Now, if you see and analyze which job will give you maximum freedom, maximum status, maximum excitement, and a good amount of money, right? You will feel, you will agree with me that it's a sales job. No other job, be it HR or finance or accounts or whatever, gives you that freedom. Sales job gives you that freedom. There are very few tags on you when you're working in the field. Nobody is hounding you. The sales department or your boss in the sales department is only concerned about one thing. What is your output? How much you have delivered for the company and what is the profit margin that you're giving. He is not bothered whether you are working, not working, where are you going, right? So maximum freedom you get in sales. Secondly, the fastest promotions that happen in a sales job, right? I was vice president with the company. I took VRS at the age of 42 as vice president in this company called Avery India Limited, which is one of the finest training houses in the world. All right. And I joined that company soon after my MBA as a fresh sales executive, first job. Within 4 years, branch manager. Another 6 years, sales manager. And then up, and took VRS at the age of 42 as vice president. No other job would have offered me such fast promotions. Even Maslow has said this in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What Maslow has said is that a person first and foremost wants basic needs, right? Which may be money for a person who's first time in a job. Then security of life, right? Then belongingness, social needs, friendship, care, love, togetherness, right? And then comes ego needs. I should be the boss. I should be ahead of everybody. And finally, self-actualization, which is living life on your own terms. All right. And let me tell you, sales job provides you everything right up till the final notch of self-actualization. And I am doing it. I am a living example in front of you. Today, I do things which I enjoy. I golf. I teach. I do social work. Right? These are the things which are self-actualization needs in me. And I'm doing it. Why? And doing it successfully. Why? Why? Because I took up this career in sales, which groomed me, which made me into a fighter, which taught me all that I know today to become successful. Right? Other jobs, I am not condemning other jobs. HR, finance, accounts, or whatever. You have newer fields nowadays, analytics and all. Right? I'm not condemning them. But what I'm trying to tell you is that maximum people in jobs other than sales, in the Maslow's hierarchy of need, reach only up till the social level. Very few reach the ego level or the self-actualization level. Okay, so I was a sales guy. I am still a salesperson, and I vouch for a sales job for fast promotions and fast success. All right. I should tell you one more thing which the corporate world wants today, and you can write down, which says from sales department doing sales to everyone doing sales. What does it mean? From sales department doing sales or does selling to everybody does selling or everybody does sales. What does it mean? It means it is in today's marketing scenario, in today's job profiling, in today's market scenario, it is not only the job of a salesman to have a salesmanship mindset. Rather, everybody, right from peon to managing director, all departments should have this sales-oriented mindset. Because it is the sales-oriented mindset which gets you customers and retains customers. It is everybody's job to get customers. It is everybody's job to retain customers. So everybody should have a marketing mindset or a sales mindset. Right? One more thing, let me tell you. There would be many of you who are wanting to take up an enterprise, to start their own business. They don't want to get into jobs, right? Or some say we will take up job only for the first few years, learn the trade, and thereafter get into your own business. Very good, very fine, right? Now let me tell you, if you start your own enterprise, okay, you can hire good accounts people, good finance people, good HR people. What you cannot hire and what you cannot retain for long are the sales people. So when it comes to selling, you have to lead from the front, right? That is very, very important. Accounting can be handled by somebody else. Finance can be handled by somebody else, right? But selling, you need to be up to date and lead everybody from the front, at least in the initial years, till your enterprise can gainfully hire high-end people. So it's very, very important for everybody to learn salesmanship. Very important. You cannot achieve success unless you have a salesmanship mindset, irrespective of what career you choose. And let me give you a few examples of how people who are not in sales have also, become successful only because they had this salesmanship mindset. One example that comes to my mind is this guy, Sehwag, Virendra Sehwag, the famous cricketer, right? Now, he was recently giving a show on FM radio, Sehwag Ka Swag, and I used to enjoy hearing him because he used to come out with his real-time examples. And he had once said that his entire family was against him playing cricket. Why? Because they did not fathom out, they could not gather the ability of Virendra and accept the fact that he can play India. So they used to pester him to, go and study, go and study, go and study. Right? And he gave one very interesting statistics that many of the cricketers, including Sachin Tendulkar, are not even graduates. He says, I am a graduate guy. Right? And one day, his mother stopped him from going for cricketing. She said, no, sit down and study. So Sehwag told his mother, Mama, one day I will be playing India. And Mama, you know what? You will be sitting in the VIP gallery, in the VIP pavilion, right? And you will be waving at me. And I will respond to your wave by hitting a six. And the ball will come into your lap. And everybody will look at you and they'll start clapping. Wow, Virendra Sehwag's mother. Won't you feel proud, ma'am? Won't you feel proud, mama? The mama said, Ja beta, ji le teri zindagi. You got my point? What he did? He used his salesmanship skills to convince his mother. Let me give you one more example. Everybody knows Anupam Kher. Very good actor. Right? He himself says that he was good in his acting, but he had become bald very soon. And so he was not getting, assignments for acting. Finally, he got one major role in a film many would have seen, Saransh, wherein he had become an old man, old bald guy, right, whose son had died abroad. Right. So he was offered that job, and the director of that film was Mahesh Bhatt. One day he receives a call from Mahesh Bhatt's office saying that, well, Anupam, your role has been cancelled. You will no longer be playing the role of that father. Now, Anupam Kher obviously was disturbed, heartbroken. That was one major acting assignment that he has got. And again, it had gone away from him. Fighter that he was, and that salesmanship spirit that he had, he did not give up. He went to Mahesh Bhatt's house and he went in the morning, because otherwise Mahesh Bhatt would have left for his office, and in the office he can't meet him. Right? So he met him, he confronted rather Mahesh Bhatt, and he told him, why the hell have you taken me out of this role? And he was so angry. He was angry. He was depressed. He was very down in his emotions, and he cried in front of him. Right? And those were the emotions that Mahesh Bhatt was looking for Saransh from that old man. And he immediately recognized the actor in him more profusely. Immediately he rang up the producer and said, nobody other than Anupam Kher is going to do this particular role, because I have seen him. I have seen the anguish in his eyes. I have seen the pain in his entire body language. He's the one I want. So something lost has been gained again by an actor. And that is what is required for success. This is this attitude of salesmanship, this attitude of die hard, never lose hope, never let the order go till the time it is totally done up. Right? Rise up and walk again. These are some attributes of a salesman. We will talk about it little more. Right? Okay. Now, let us talk of what you need for success. Right? Be it a sales job, be it any other job. And I have a small concept in mind, which I have been using, and I have been telling my students in Takshila, all right? And I've been trying to hone up these skills in all the Takshilites, so that they can be successful in whatever that they do. And the concept is this. And I call it the success triangle. The success triangle. Now, this success triangle has 3 quadrants. And what are these? One is universal knowledge. Right? Second is your hard work. Right? Or I should rather add smart hard work. And third is tenacity. Now, what are these? I have given you examples of people who were not in selling profession, but they excelled. And you can take any successful person, if you see his autobiography, you will find that they had these 3 major attributes. They were knowledgeable, they were smart in whatever that they were doing, and they had this tenacity, that die-hard attitude, never give up approach. Right? These 3 quadrants make the success. You increase any of these, your success triangle will increase. You increase your knowledge, your success will increase. You increase your hard work and smart work, your success triangle will increase. Increase the tenacity. Right? वो जुझारूपन जिसको अपन कहते हैं, increase that, and your area of success will increase. Now let me give you few examples from my own life on how I carved my success through using these 3 quadrants and the concept that I have made, the success triangle. First and foremost, universal knowledge. Now, when I was in this company, Avery India, I was taught by my seniors that whenever you approach a customer, a major customer, let us say you're meeting the MD of a big company, right? And let me tell you, we were selling weighing machines. big weighing machines, small weighing machines, online weighing systems, ILO weighers, and complicated stuff and simple stuff both. Okay, and we were taught that before you go and meet any important personality in an organization where you have to take an appointment and meet him, you have to take full knowledge of their own business, of their competitors, and what you can suggest them with your knowledge. So we used to go to the factory that they were controlling, go each and every department, see what they are using. If they are using my machines, very good. How can I improvise from this machine? How can I give them an upgraded machine? Secondly, if they are not using my machine, how can I scrap the competitor's machine and sell them my machine? Right? Alongside that, we would do a behavioral analysis of the person we are meeting. Right? What is his subconscious mind like? What does he like? What are his hobbies? What does it does not like? Okay, how should I dress up? Should I dress up formally because he is a very formal guy? Or should I dress up informally because he is a swagger? He doesn't believe in dressing up very fantastically or formally, right? So we would arm ourselves with this knowledge, and then we will knock his door. Sir, may I come in? And then pitch your sales with the knowledge that you have of your own product, of the competitor's product, what they are using, what they are not using, what can I propose, how will it help them? Most importantly, a consumer does not buy because you are selling. A consumer buy because he wants it. It will be gainful for him. We will talk about this in the next class, that is tomorrow. Right? So, universal knowledge. Second is hard work. We were told in Avery, right? If one customer says no, remember, there is another one waiting to sign your order. Go look for him. I repeat this golden sentence, which was taught to me by my boss, and I taught my juniors thereafter. You can write it down. These are golden words. Make a note of it in your notebooks. If one customer says no, remember, there is another waiting to sign your order. Right? There is another chap who's waiting to sign your order. All you need to do is go find him. Go find him. Make more calls. You will ultimately find him and you'll get your order. Right? So you have to work hard and you have to work smart. Only hard work will make you a donkey. A donkey also works very hard. No, you don't need that. You have to work smart. Right? And how can you work smart? Again, I'm going to be talking about it in the next lecture, which is tomorrow. In my next talk, which is tomorrow. And third is tenacity. Never die hard attitude. Never die attitude. There has been cases wherein I, as a salesperson, has lost an order. But because of my tenacity, I turned the table around and made sure I get that order. And I'll give you one example. JK Synthetics Limited, Kota, which a company which is no longer there now, it's closed. Right? They had come up with a plant in Jhalawad, Prithvipura. And I lost an order for a 100-ton weighbridge, a weighing scale on which trucks are weighed. Right? I lost an order. And to which company? A company as big as Philips. I lost that order. But I did not lose heart, and I did not accept this failure. I went and met the MD and I told him that, sir, the order has been given to Philips, but let me tell you, Philips, we are superior than Philips. He says, how can you prove? I said, okay, there are few Philips machines installed in Kota area. You send somebody with me. I will take them through those installations, make them meet the people who are using that particular machine, and let him take down their views. And if you still feel Philips is better, I have nothing to say. There's somebody else who's going to give me the order. He said, okay, done. So he assigned one technical guy to go around with me, and I took him to 3 places, right? And I made him meet the people who are handling the Philips Weybridge, and everybody gave a secondary opinion about Philips Weybridges. They said Avery is better. Philips is not good. Their service is not very good. They are not located in Rajasthan. Every time the person comes from Delhi, the machine is totally imported. There is very little from India. So spare parts are difficult to get. Downtime is much higher. Right? And so the machine which was delivered, Philips had delivered the machine also, payment not made. Right? The order was cancelled. Philips had to take back that machine, and an Avery Weybridge was sold in that particular company. This happened only because of my tenacity. Happened only because of my die-hard attitude. An attitude of not accepting defeat very easily. Right? So these 3 points are very important. And it is not only in sales. You will find that this kind of qualities you need for success in any kind of job that you do. Universal knowledge, smart work, hard work, and tenacity. All right. Now, having understood that you need a selling mindset, a salesmanship mindset, right? In whatever that you are doing, let me now give you few tips on how we can effortlessly make an impact on people that matter to us, which is salesmanship. Right? Salesmanship is nothing but putting your point across to the person that matters to you. Make him understand your viewpoint and make him agree to your viewpoint. That is actually salesmanship and nothing more. You do it for a sales profession, you become a salesman. You don't do a sales profession, you don't become a salesman, but you have a selling mindset which makes you successful. Right? And these are few points which we are going to be discussing in the next class. All right. First is scientific selling. How to sell scientifically. Selling is a science, right? It is an art as well, but it is predominantly a science. Okay, right? So there are some steps to selling which makes selling a process, a step-by-step arrangement, right? So you go step by step on how to build up your sale and get the order. So scientific selling is the first rudiment of effortless selling. Learn the scientific selling method. Second is you don't have to sell. Now, this statement seems quite absurd. You're in a sales profession and I'm telling you not to sell. Right? But we will discuss it elsewhere tomorrow when I talk about my concept. Don't sell, make the customer buy. Right? What I mean by this particular jargon, we will discuss it tomorrow. As of now, you all need to know is you don't have to be hard selling whatever that you are. Right? You have to lead the customer into a sale. Right? You have to make him buy. That is more important. Making him buy is more important than your selling. Right? So second point is, and second effortless selling method is don't sell, help the customer to buy. We will discuss it tomorrow more. Third, and a very, very important concept is the concept of man. Now, what is a man? A man is a person whom you need to approach and pitch your sales, right? Or pitch your salesmanship. And what is that? A person with money, person with authority, and the person who needs your product. He is the man. Right? And this is what we teach in Takshila also. In the class where I am doing sales management, we tell them whenever you have to get an order, generally people want to go to the purchase department and ask them for the order. Right? Because purchase department is the one who does the clerical work of handing over the order to you. But are they really buying the product from you? No, they are not buying. Who's buying? The person, number one, who can spend the money, who has the money, number one. Right? Number two, who has the authority to spend that money. And most importantly, the person who is going to use that machine. All right? This is a big concept. I cannot teach you in 2-3 minutes or 15 minutes. Right? But if ever we get a chance to be at Takshila together, I am going to teach you this particular concept of the man, which will help you each and every moment of your life. Right? The concept of man, a person with money, authority, and need. So, who is going to give you the order? The order is going to be given to you by, first and foremost, the person who needs it. He can be a supervisor of a factory. He may not be a manager, but he's the one who's going to use that machine physically. So he becomes the most important person in your life for that order. Right? Then the machine is going to cost money. So you need money. So who has the money? The money may be with the owner. The owner has to sanction, okay, this machine can be bought. And he has the authority also to spend that money. Right? So we need not go to the purchase department. Don't go to purchase department. Where you have to go? You have to go to the person who, number one, going to use it. Person who has the money to spend. And thirdly, and most importantly, who has authority to spend that money also. All right. So the concept of man, this is the third point. Next point of smart selling, effortless selling, right? And that is too many slips between the cup and the lip. Write down this. This is a very nice proverb. Too many slips between the cup and the lip. What does this proverb mean? This proverb means if you are drinking tea or if you are drinking milk, right? Or maybe you are drinking beer, from your hand to your mouth, there is hardly a distance of 1 feet. But your container from which you are drinking may topple at any fraction of a second from here to your mind, to your mouth. It may slip here, it may slip here, it may slip here, it may slip here, or it may slip just at your lips. Right? So this concept means too many slips between the cup and the lip, which means never ever take things for granted. Don't relax till the time the order has been booked, machine delivered, payment collected, along with the other forms and other documentation that needs to be done for that particular order. Right? Because, like I told you in that example of JK Synthetics, I took away the order from their mouth. They had got the order. They were happy. They had delivered the machine. They were waiting for payment. The payment never came. The machine came back. Right? So there can be many slips between the cup and the lip. You need to be cautious. You need to be alert. You need to be on the ball each and every moment so that the order does not slip out at any point in time from your hand. Right? So 4 points of effortless selling. There are many more, which if we meet again, we will talk. Tomorrow also we will talk. And maybe we'll keep talking if you are here in Takshila. Right? So scientific selling, number 1, selling is a science and not an art. It may be small portion of an art, but majorly it is scientific. Number 2, you don't have to necessarily sell. What you need to do is take the customer along and make him to buy it. Right? Instead of hammering the product on him, tell him how it is going to help him, how it is going to bring him out of the tensions that he is having for which he wants this machine or this product. And he will voluntarily come and buy it from you. So use the pull strategy rather than the push strategy. Right? Third, look for the man. Don't run to the purchase department or don't meet the wrong people. Because meeting wrong people will only make you an ass. It is only going to make you a donkey. It will only make you work hard, not work smart. Right? So you need to find the person who has money, authority, and need. And then if they agree, purchase department can do nothing. They cannot stop the order from going to you, no matter what your price is, no matter what the other parameters of your sale are. They cannot stop your order. And finally, there are too many slips between the cup and the lip. Means don't relax. Don't get over enthusiastic or joyous. Right? That you got the order. You have not got the order. There can be many more slips between the cup and the lip. Right? So you need to be very cautious and keep working, keep trudging on the orders that you've already got, plus keep working on new orders to get. Right, friends? I've been talking for too long now. So I would want a few questions from you all. Okay, somebody is writing, Sopan Shah is writing, isn't the push strategy on which sales work and pull in marketing works? Okay. Very good, Swapan. I think you have asked a very good question, and a question which is commonly asked by a lot of my students. Now let me answer it for you. Let me first wipe this. This ink dries up on the board, and then it becomes difficult to, you know, literally scrape it off. Okay, right. Okay, I will read the question again. Isn't the push strategy which works on in sales and pull strategy in marketing? Right. Okay, let us first understand how an organization works to get orders. Right? So you have something which is called sales in the center. Why does any company work? They work because they want to make money. They want profits. How will the profit comes? The profit will come from sales. Right? Okay. And then to ensure that sales come, you need to help the sales department to do their function of sales. And so you have another department which is called the marketing department, right, which helps the sales department to do their job of physical selling. Now these marketing departments can do advertising, can do branding, can do sales promotion, right? Or do anything else, that is, or do product development, research work, whatever that they do, they are doing to help the sales department to sell. So, Swapan asked me this question, and Swapan, understand that sales department is not a separate entity to marketing department. Sales department is an integral part, rather the core of marketing department. And if I may elaborate, it is the core of all the activities that a company does, right? Because if I extend this particular, this diagram, so marketing department is then helped by other departments, which is HR, finance, accounts, or whatever department, factory, right? Whatever departments, they help the marketing department, right? The finance department gives them money to launch their advertising campaign, right? Or the finance department gives money, the accounts department transfers money to the research department, who's making new products or improvising on today's products, right? So please understand, sales department is not a separate department from marketing department. These are interwoven. Rather, sales department is the center of all activities in an organization, right? So now you said push strategy and marketing full strategy. No, you can do push strategy for few products, which is an obsolete concept now. Nowadays, push strategy doesn't work. Today, you need only and only pull strategy, right? To get customers to you. If you see, let me give you a small example. If I hold you by your shoulders and try and push you, what will happen? You will stand like this. You will stop me from pushing you, isn't it? Right? But if I put my hand around your shoulder and say, hi, Sapan, come, beta. You will come with me. Same thing happens with a customer. The moment you try and hard hit a product on his head, become defensive. He'll get into that armor. No buy armor is what we call it. He will not buy. But if you cajole him to buy, if you try and slowly and gradually get him into that buying mode, he will buy. Okay, more on this I can tell you only and only if we meet face to face. Maybe if you take an admission in Takshila, come here, we will discuss it threadbare, and I think I would have addressed your question, right? Right, yes, if I have. Okay, next, somebody else. Let me take one more question. All right, sir. Sir, why sales is science? Is there any rigid rule? But I think sales mean invitation to grab customers. Again, it's a very negative sentiment that you are trying to portray, and this is a fallacy in sales. That is the reason why salespeople are not much liked. And you know what? Most of the people, most of the MBA students, they don't want to get into sales. Right? The frontline sales. You tell them you get into advertising, they will get into advertising. Branding, they will get into branding. They'll get into any advertising, any marketing activity, but not the core activity of marketing, which is sales. Why? Because they feel, number one, it's an inferior job. Right? People don't respect you. You have to go begging for an order. Or you have to grab the customer. What is the meaning of grab? Grab means ऐसा पकड़ लेना साले को किसी को ऐसे, right? That is grab. You don't grab customers. You cajole customers. You invite customers. You hug customers, right? You, whatever that you do it with compassion, with love, not grab. Okay, so. But this is the mindset. The mindset is you have to go and get the order by hook or by crook. No, you don't have to get an order by hook or by crook. You have to get an order where the customer really needs your product. If the customer doesn't need your product, don't sell him that product. That old saying, who's a salesman? A person who can sell comb to a bald person. Isn't it? ये कहावत है ना, गंजे को कंघी बेचना, salesmanship है. No, this is a very old concept. It is a concept which emerged after the production concept in the medieval ages, during the Industrial Revolution, right? Sales concept, where salesman was important and salesmen had to just go and drum the product by hook or by crook, sell it, make lame promises, make false promises and sell your product. No, that is not there anymore. Scientific selling says you have to look for the man. Money, authority, need. First and foremost, need. Unless there is no need, you cannot sell. Because if you sell, then you will be only getting a bad name. And you will be shaming the entire community of salespeople. You have a responsibility. A customer comes to you because he has his intention. He has a problem. What is need? Need is a problem. He comes to you with a problem. You have to solve his problem and bring him out of that pain. If you do that, then you are a real salesperson. All right? And that is what we will teach you. How to turn the table. When a salesman goes to a consumer, he goes like this, with a begging bowl in his hand. But after that, he goes and talks to him, pitches his sale, convinces him, takes him along the purchase cycle, right? And then finally he gets the order. Once he gets the order, then the table has turned. Then who's asking? The customer is asking, give me the product. Right? Then the customer is asking, you are the giver. Earlier, when you went to him, you were the person who was asking. Right? Now, he has given the order, now he is asking. So you need to learn the nuances of selling and how to convert from this gesture to this gesture, right? I think I have answered your question that sales is not grabbing a customer. Sales is cajoling a customer. Let me take another question. Right. Who's the person? Can I see the name? Robin? No. Rahul says new era with digital marketing so is sales will be good career for us. Okay, right. What he's trying to say, Rahul is trying to say is, in today's era, yeah, we live in a digital marketing world. We live in the world of digital marketing. So do we still need to do one-on-one sales? Yes. Not all products can be sold on social platforms. Not all products can be sold on digital platform, right? All the complex products, you need a one-to-one interaction with the customer, right? And so a physical team is required. Let me tell you one more thing. When I say selling or salesmanship, I do not only mean physical one-to-one selling. When you write a good sales letter to a consumer, that is also selling. You may be into digital marketing or digital selling. You have to, and especially with this COVID times, physical transaction has become limited. You have to reach out to the customer other than physical contact. So your writing skills become very important, right? So how to write good sales letters? How to incorporate that IDAS model, attention, interest, desire, and action, right? How to incorporate that IDAS model into your sales letter, which is the basic core, right, of any communication. IDAS model, we will teach you that, right? So how to incorporate that? So don't think that because of digital marketing, the persona or the importance of a salesman has reduced. No, I would rather say it has increased. Because with digital marketing, sales expand, right? Your reach to more customers is there, but that doesn't mean you have to stop selling. You can't stop selling because if you stop selling, you don't get an order. This is the mistake which even Ratan Tata made when he brought in Nano. He thought it will sell on its own. It didn't sell. Nano didn't sell. He had to then understand and accept his fault and get into direct communication with the consumer. Price didn't sell. So all this we are going to teach you, right? But as of now, remember, digital marketing is not going to overrule, overshadow, or will take away the need for a physical salesman. Okay, let's take one more question. Time is running out. Sneha Kumari, she says, many big companies don't spend money on marketing, sir. What's their selling strategy at the initial stage? Sneha Kumari, I have just answered your question. A big company, as big as Tata Motors. It's a big case, which we will study if you're in Takshila, right? Wherein, or you can do it yourself on the net. Just Google, and just type Tata Nano launch, and you will get many articles saying why Nano failed. Initially, when Tata came out with this car, 1 lakh rupees car, which was called Lakh Takkiya also, Nano, right? He thought since he's coming out with such a cheap car, it will sell on its own. And I don't need to do any marketing or sales efforts. All I need to do is to just do a seminar and tell everybody that Nano has been launched because the hype had been created. But then what happened? Initially, the orders came in. There was a waiting period of 2 months when Tata was launched. But very soon, since no selling and marketing was done, people started building cobwebs in their minds. People started getting misnomers, getting false perceptions about the car, and cancellation came. Tata didn't know what to do. Then they did a research, and the research told them that customers are having wrong perception. It's a weak car. It's not made for rural market, right? If it hits a dog, the dog will run away. The car will, slump down. It's a machis ka dabba. All these wrong perceptions were created in the mind. So big company or small company, any company should do good sales and good marketing. When I say sale, I am not singling out sales. I mean marketing backup also. If I am saying marketing, I don't mean only marketing. I mean the entire marketing department in which sales is the center. Okay. We will take one more last question, and that comes from Prayan Mane. How to identify potential buyers from the prospects we have in our sales funnel? Again, a very prominent question. How do we identify potential buyers? Now, you can identify potential buyers only and only if you first and foremost that universal knowledge, right? You should have that knowledge of your product. You should know where all your products can fit in. I'll give you an example. Let us say you are selling a credit card, right? Now you should know everything about your credit card, what all it can do for you. You can buy on credit, how much lead time you get for payment, what will be the interest cost thereafter, right? Who are the competitors? How much buying power you are going to give to your customer? All this you need to know. Once you know the product, then you have to relate the product needs with the customer needs. The product essentials, the product benefits with the market. See, let us say if you are giving 2.5 lakh rupees of buying power in your card, right? So 2.5 lakhs today is not a very big amount. So you need to target in those people who want only about 2.5 lakh rupees of buying power. But if you are buying, you are giving them 1 crore buying power, then your segment will be different. So you have to first and foremost get the universal knowledge of your product. Take out the USPs, the unique selling propositions of your product. And after taking those unique selling proposition of your product, identify a target market who will need these benefits of your product. And then try and merge your USPs with the target market. You will never go wrong. Right, friends? Time is over, but I am still taking more questions. Okay. Gautam, Ashok. This is the last question I am taking. Gautam, yours is the last question. Even their USP was the world's cheapest car in the world. So he's talking about Nano, right? So people didn't want to buy this. Why? Okay. Again, very good question. Last question I am taking and I am answering. Whenever consumer is buying, right? He buys because he gets something which we call as the value. He will buy when he gets value. Now, what is value? Value is benefit divided by cost. Okay? Which means whatever price that is there, that should be less than the benefits he is going to get. Now, Gautam, please understand. In India, why do people buy a car? Right? people buy a car not for transport. They buy a car also for status. Right? Ratan Tata had thought that all the people who are riding a motorcycle will shift to Nano for reason of status, that I have got a four-wheeler. But since this perception was not made in the minds of the consumer, this status element did not get registered. In Takshila, we have a subject called consumer behavior. In that consumer behavior, we study this only, how to create perceptions in the mind of the people, right? How to motivate people, motivate, then create perceptions. From perceptions, make them get a learning. From learning, get a behavior, attitude, and then make a sale. So what happened? Although their USP was price, yes, they were cheap, but that cheap price also was not giving the benefit that the customer wanted, because they had wrong perceptions about the product. Number one, it is a machis ka dabba. It is not a strong car, right? It will break down anywhere. Okay. Secondly, there is no status attached to it. You see one ad, Gautam. There is one ad on the net. You will get it. Khushiyon ki chabi, where you will see a small girl waiting for Nano to come, right? And then you see Nano coming, and then all sorts of things are being said about that car, right? That it can drive fast, it has got status, it can arouse a sentiment of jealousy in the neighbors, right? See that ad where the girl starts with a girl and ends with that small little girl. See that ad. That ad was basically made to do away with the misnomers, with the false attitude that the people had created in their minds, and that negativity was more than that small price that they were charging, right? Even that price of 1 lakh was not compensating enough to the benefits that the customer is going to get, right? And so price is not a constraint to sell. When I will be teaching you sales management, we will be talking a lot about this. It is not the price which sells. Price is only a reflection of the benefits the consumer gets from your product, right? So price is not material. It is immaterial. Price is not the important thing. What is important is what your product can do for the consumer. Okay, friends? So with this, I will close here. I have a class tomorrow also. What you all can do is, you have Takshila ID. You can send your questions to me on the ID. I will pick up some good questions and start my tomorrow's talk with those questions. All right? Mr. Dipender, the questions that are there today, can we get a copy of that? Right? Okay. You can get, or what you do, you type out more questions. Either type them out right now. So the coordinator of this program will give me a list of all the questions, on which I will select few questions, and we can talk about them tomorrow. Or you can even send your questions on the email ID which is flashing on your screen. Send it there and we'll take up from there. Right, friends? So tomorrow again we meet, and again we ponder on sales and salesmanship, how to sell, right? And the nuances of how to build a big career and become successful. Bye-bye. Have a nice day. See you tomorrow. Take care.